Yo, what's up? So, this is part 2 of the last video I showed you with popping hand and arm angles. So basically, I'm going to just basically show you some more different stuff you can do with your arms and hands that I didn't show you in the first video. But pretty much, like the first thing I learned when I was like starting off was you probably see this a lot in like a lot of classes and workshops, but they're gonna teach you these basic angles up here. It's kind of like strutting. So this is the first thing I learned, but it's not the first thing you have to learn. It's just really basic, and I'd say it's good to learn anyway. So basically, you start off up here, like you can have your hands straight or relaxed, or it doesn't matter how your hands are. They don't have to be dead straight like that. But it's good if you want nice clean angles. So have your arms up like this, and then you kind of are like in this position here. So you're just folding your arms like that, straight up, and folding them, and then each time you just pop like that. You'd add the pop on top of that. And you don't have to come back down like I'm doing. That just helps keep a rhythm. So you just boom, boom, boom. So the next thing is, from once you have your arms folded, it's just like opening up like that, straight out, and then closing, and then opening up with bent arms instead. So it's like open, close, open, close, open, close, like that. So that's the motion, is open and close with your arms. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that's the first basic step or thing that I learned, and I would recommend other people learn that as well. So what you can do next is a little bit more awkward angles, right? So you got your puppet angles like this, okay? But this is like a puppet angle, but a little bit higher, okay? So just up here like that. So you look at where my shoulder is, it's a little bit above shoulder level, like up here. You see the diagonal line? Like that. Boom, boom, boom. And what's good from here is you can turn the wrist down, and this turning motion also gives you like a pop or a hit. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So if you want to use that in like a combination, you can go 1, 2, and now what you can do is hit your elbow like this. And these are like also just other ways you can pop with your arms, right? So it's hitting the elbow like that. Because you think about your elbow as a way of popping, like boom, boom, or you can hit it down like that. So like, so your elbows can be used to like pop as well. And then once from there, like you're still going in like a combination, you would hit that up, and then you'd come to the hands like this. And this kind of looks like a ball. It's like a ball you can play with here. Alright. So you hit your elbow, and now you're in this kind of position here where you got like an invisible type of ball. Alright. So these allow you to wave, like to wave underneath, right? You can wave on top. All underneath here is like it's like you're passing the ball through your body. So it's like an invisible ball type of wave, which I already made a video for that. If you want to check that out, just I might link it or something. It'll be on my channel somewhere. Invisible ball waving kind of concept. But so yeah, you're from here anyway, and now you're into this position here, which is, I mean, obviously there's a lot you can do from there, because an under and on top position, I call this under and over basically. So what that means is you can go under or over, underneath this arm or over this arm, and you just simply turn it like that if you want to go the other arm, right? So what you could do is like, you see, if you're like going under and over like this, okay, it's all basically coming from this position here, which is where it's where the switch is actually happening, alright? It's all happening in this position like that. And these are like good ways to wave. But I want to like focus less on waving and more on popping, right? So from here, you can like throw the ball, like you hit your elbow up and now you can throw it. Or what you can do is you can just turn and then like throw like that. So you're using like the throw like as kind of like a pop. As long as you pop your chest with it, like boom, 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 right? So you can pop with the throw, like it's like crumping, because I say crumping and popping actually have a lot in common, because tie-dyes, most people know him as a crumper, was actually a really good popper, and he like combined a lot of popping techniques into his crumping. One of them would be like throwing. So they throw like invisible balls or whatever in crumping a lot. So there is other things that crumping has in common with popping. It's mainly a lot of like the chest pop. So like is just like that. Okay? Because they stop their foot first. Boom. And I don't claim to be a crumper or anything because I can't crump, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that, right? But what you got is you got your popping techniques like throwing the ball. And also what you can do from here is like you don't have to throw it, so you can just turn it and then play around with it. Like the ball is in your hands, basically, right? So like boom, boom. You imagine you got this ball here. Maybe it goes down your head, right? Then it comes out over here and it's you know what I mean? It's all this motion. So, kind of moving on from that is more like these, what would I call it? Like puppet poses again, right? So I showed you these basic ones here, and even up here. Like, and even like the broken angles like that. But what I didn't show you was like, you see how you can come sideways across like this too. So this can be like a puppet position here. You see, you could be like that. You could be like this. Okay? And then another thing you can do is you can, like, you imagine you're on strings or something, right? And with the puppet comes like loose arm. I call it loose arm because that's what it is. It's like you're just loose. You're not trying to be clean. You're trying to purposely be almost like sloppy, like boom. Okay? And what you can also do, which I've seen like Popping Pete do and a lot of poppers do, is they use big motions to generate more energy into their pop. So a motion like this, it's got a lot of speed and energy going into it. So when you come to a stop, it just seems like it's a lot harder. What was that noise? It doesn't matter. So yeah, it's like you would, boom. You're swinging your arms, right? It's like the arm swing motion again. And at the end of the arm swing is you just stop and pop with it. And yeah, from here, it's obviously, you can pop like with these angles as well, right? So you can boom, pop like that. You can pop, boom, like you can pop with it. Boom. So it's like that, the sprinkler, I think what people call the sprinkler. It's like that move, right? But it's just like, it's a quick little boom, boom, pop. boom, boom, boom. So you just like quick little bursts of energy, right? Like boom, boom. And that's kind of like using your elbow as well, like in the pop, similar to this, but this way. And since we're already talking about the elbow, is like from position like this, right? What you can do, like if you were just to like hit your elbow up like this, you can pop like that as well. So it's almost like martial arts, right? So this is another thing Crump has in common with popping, is using martial art and fighting techniques incorporated into it. So crumping uses jabs, right? Like, I think they call it jab, boom, 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 boom. I think they call it a jab because it's like I think tie-dyes used to do boxing as well. Ask him about it. I don't really know that kind of history, but pretty sure I remember him saying that in a video. So you have your jabs, right, like in crump. You can do this in popping too, right? But I would say it doesn't really look as good in popping. Well, not when I do it anyway. So what I do, I like to use my elbows a lot as well. It's like, because elbow is a technique from Muay Thai, and you may be like in a crump position like this, right? So what are you going to do with your elbow now? Is like, are you going to boom, alright, so it's like you have your elbow you can use to pop, to generate these pops with, like boom, okay? The best looking one is just like a simple like that. It's like you're just covering your head, right? And your knee comes up with it. It's like boom, boom. Okay, because you can use your popping angles with it, and then you can just do it like really subtly, and it looks good enough. So there is another thing that I'll show you, like the crump and the popping related, which is, it's kind of like, I think the way they describe it in crump is like you're putting on a jacket, right? Like you're putting on a jacket like that. But the jacket is not really there. It's like you're going boom like this. Okay? In popping we go like that, or like this. So it's like boom, boom like that. It's just a way of like crossing your arms, but popping with it. So at the same time you would boom, like pop your chest inwards, like that. And then on the way out you pop out. So your chest pops in and then out, like boom, boom. And you will see a lot of poppers do this, especially Popping Pete, who invented the whole style from this position called Spider-Man, where it's like you're like a spider crawling all over your body, right? boom, boom. So that's the popping way of doing like, it's almost like a crumping way of popping, right? So cross arms, like, remember like you're putting on a jacket and opening the jacket, like putting it on, opening it. But to make it look nicer, you can keep your thumbs open and you can just put your thumbs on your body like that. So you kind of, it looks a little bit nicer like this, right? Boom. See what I mean? And that's another way you can basically use your hands. And the puppet and arm swings is also like pretty versatile with popping. So I'll show you the wrists, why puppet is good with popping, right? It's because the wrists play a lot in the way you actually pop. You can go boom, boom. So the way most people pop is like they're pushing their wrists down like that, which activates the muscles in your arm up here and in the forearm up here. Boom, 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 boom. So it comes from the wrist going up or down. So you can be like, one wrist is coming up, or they can both come up, and you can hit on the up or the down, right? Boom, boom. And this is where you can get a bit more creative. You can switch it up like this. Alright, so it's like the wrists are turning up and down like that. And you'll see like a lot of the time it's used with puppet and popping and stuff. Boom, boom. And you can turn the wrist as well. So the wrist can turn to allow you to get more motion out of it, right? So now you've got this motion here. If you add the turns, okay. And you can cross arm with it, but you might get your arms a little bit tangled up if you don't do it right. So cross arm would look like that, right? And then you have to add a little extra turn again. So boom. Or you can do it inwards, like cross arms like this. So that's the up version. Or you can come down with it like that. And you can get a bit more wider with the movement. And you can kind of see where you can take these angles. You might want to just take them a little bit further. Like, because I notice with popping, that's what makes the difference, is how much you can exaggerate a movement, right? Exaggeration is the word I'm looking for. So you could do that, but the difference between that and that is a lot, right? That's an exaggerated movement. You could do this, but that's a little bit more exaggerated, right? You could do this, but that's a little bit more exaggerated. That's a little bit more exaggerated. You see? So rather than just going like a small step or up like that, you can stretch it a little bit more. And if you were to take a picture, with it, it looks a lot nicer as well when you have these angles, right? So that's the trick to a good picture, is exaggerating the angles a lot. Okay? So, exaggerating, that's right. So once again, it's like, especially with your twisto, flex, and your tidal waves, that's what it's called, sorry. Your tidal waves like this, right? You can step with it like that. So this position here, where you'd usually tidal wave from, I think you can exaggerate them a little bit more, or you can play around with the angles, like, because you might want to go pop, pop, pop. Or you might want to jump into it. You might want to go like boom, boom. You can go like hop into it. Same with your tutting. You can hop into the tutting angles, right? So it's like you just exaggerating everything a little bit more, and basically they're also posing, right? So posing is, I think, the main word people would like use to describe all these boogaloo angles. Are like, they're all like poses, right? Because if you were to like pause at any point, they're all like a pose, right? It's like a cool little pose you would do. So most people think of posing like if someone's taking a picture at them. But in popping, it's like you're not literally trying to go like not trying to pose and look all pretty and stuff to a camera. What you're trying to do is find these cool angles that look really awesome, right? So it's just a matter of playing around with it, because you might find some really ugly angles and some angles that look better. And trust me, when you're practicing a lot, you're going to have a lot of ugly angles, and you're going to be like, nah man, I'm not really feeling that too much. And my biggest advice I could give you is you want to look cool when you're dancing as well, because looking cool is like a big part of dancing, right? So you gotta look nice, you gotta dress nice, and then even if you're not even a good dancer, right, you might not be the best dancer. If you look cool, then it kind of makes up for that a little bit, not completely, but it'll win you some extra points, right? So keep that in mind. Alright, so I just stopped the video for a sec, and I thought I had some more stuff that I need to show you, but I think that's basically it for now anyway. So I'm going to just finish the video here, and yeah, I'll call that a day. So work on it and keep dancing, and yeah, just allow yourself to have enough time to practice and get comfortable with everything, because You're not just going to start off good. And if you look at me, I've spent almost 8 years trying to actually develop my skills to where I like them and have my own style and understand the movement and dance, because understanding the movement is the number one way you're going to get better at it, because you can practice the Fresno all the time, the same movement, you might get more clean, but you're not really going to progress with your dancing if you don't understand the concept behind the movement. So even you have to understand how your arms can move and the concept behind everything you're doing in order to actually create your own stuff. Or otherwise you're just copying what someone else is teaching you and you're not actually learning anything. So the Fresno is a good example of that, where you don't have to have your arms out like this with the Fresno. Like, that's basic. The Fresno is mainly, the concept is side to side. That's the concept to it. So you're just going side to side and synchronizing the arms to the feet. And now you can step side, side. And now you realize you can dance with it. And you see how you've automatically got a lot more things you can do. You've got a lot more movements. And that's basically just what I want to teach you, is to understand movement so you can create on your own. And yeah, just if there's a style, styles are generally pretty good to understand the concept, because the concept of a puppet is simple. It's strings and loose. So a puppet is a very manipulated and loose character, and concept is easy to understand. Same with a robot, where it's a very stiff, rigid. So everyone knows what a robot is, everyone knows what a puppet is, but when it comes to popping and hand movements, that's a style not everyone can grasp the concept of, because the concept of popping is literally just popping your muscles. And while it may seem very simple, you can move in so many different ways that it actually becomes complicated, and it's not so simple, because you're not just limited to this one range of motion now. Now you can pop with every